Back. My name's Daniel Harms. You all know, for the most part, this is what we do here on Wednesday nights now. The film room is back, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you guys. Hopefully, we're going to do this on a regular basis, like I said. So if you guys have, any more questions on this stuff, you want to learn things like that, I am more than willing to do so. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Thank you once again joining me on this Wednesday evening. And again, welcome back to RGR. My name is Daniel Harms. For those of you just joining in, if you're new, make sure you hit that like, the sub, and the bell notifications. Make sure you're getting everything you need from this channel and from everything that Ryan and I do, everyone here at RGR, on a daily basis. So to start off, we're going to talk about some fun stuff because, as you all know, the NFL has figured out the Chiefs' offense. As long as they turn the ball over 3 to 4 times a game in opponent's territory, you'll be good to go. And as long as their defense continues to stay bad and doesn't do what they did against the Washington Footballs, I mean, yeah, this is just kind of second nature. Apparently, it's just easy everyone to force the Chiefs to turn the ball over 4 times in opponent territory, and just kind of have it that way. But again, like, that's what they did against the Washington Footballs, and they were able to overcome that and come through in the second half. And I know that we think that they had this like huge struggling point in that quarter, in the second quarter, but really it wasn't that bad. The ball was being moved. They were doing some things well, and that first drive was a thing of beauty. Like, they were able to move the ball well. So today we're going to talk about why this whole issue of the Chiefs offense being resolved or by the entire NFL defense is really a non-issue, and what's going to end up happening because teams can't play too high very much longer, and how they've been able to adjust to that. So first off, we already have a super chat, and I do appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to donate to the channel, this is one way you can do it. You can also become a member at the RGR channel. But thank you, the Depth and Whisper, for the donation, $10. I very much appreciate it. Anything that you guys are willing to give is just incredible for the channel. It's incredible for us to do this. And again, thank you very much for the donation. And I will hopefully continue to bring you guys some good content. So let's go ahead, and I think we're just going to jump in, have a little bit of fun. We're going to start off with a little bit of reminiscing. And unfortunately for Jody Fortson, his season is over, but I do believe he's going to be back. And one of the things that he's going to bring to this team is the ability to, go and get the football. He's going to go get the football. And if you guys remember this play, I'm pulling up as, you can see it. And but before we actually do anything, does anybody have any struggles reading it? Can everyone see it? Is it big enough as it needs to be? Because if it's not, I can try to adjust it. But I think it should be pretty decently sized. Everybody good? Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to look at. So this is a 2 tight end set. You have Jody Fortson out here in this reduced, not really reduced split. He's kind of off the line of scrimmage. But again, this is something that he brings to this team. And I just wanted to reminisce in this amazing play put on by Jody Fortson, and a great, great option that he brings Patrick Mahomes, something that they can really do this with. But first off, like, this is a phenomenal play, and I love the stare down from Jody after this play. Like, he's showing out on the NFL stage, showing that he belongs, and really a guy who everyone here at Rogue Nation has wanted to see more time, and I think we all wanted to see him get more time. But this is a funny part of the play. I want you to watch Tyreek Hill. And the reason that Mahomes really kind of does this is because, yeah, he's got a wheel route here from Jody. So he's just going to go up here. But Tyreek is just going to just beat his man. He's just going to beat him like a drum. And when you can do that, you put a safety in a real bad position, because he's like, uh-oh, where am I going? Do I have to cover here? I have to make sure he can't get deep, because I don't want to get beat by Tyreek Hill. So what does Patrick Mahomes do? He sees this little glimmer right here. When you have a guy who's running this way, for one, you know that his back's going to be turned to the football, right? you have the option to throw this football now because you have Jody Fortson, a guy who's really, really big, to go get this ball. So yeah, he just unloads. He go makes a great play on a defender who can't make that play. And really, even if Jody Fortson doesn't look open, he is open because he has that ability to go get the football. And when you have a corner or any type of safety, any defender who's on any receiver and they're turned away from the ball, trying to catch up to someone, they're open. And that's what Jody did. It's what he brings to this team. And it's something that I'm going to miss. And I'm hoping that he comes back healthy next year and is able to continue to contribute the way that he does. So let's go ahead and stop and answer some questions because that's what we do here. We do a play and then we do some questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them right now. Thank you for the question, Harry. Will Jones return for the Titans game? Yes, all signs point to Chris Jones being on the field for the Chiefs. Now, I've heard mixed things about where he's going to be playing. I've wanted him to go back to defensive tackle since probably week 2. I didn't think he was doing much. It's hard to know the whole spot of playing defensive end, especially switching over when you've played defensive tackle most of your career. I know he's played it in college, but he's not fit, in my opinion, to be a defensive end in the NFL. He doesn't have that bend. He doesn't have that ankle flexion to be able to dip and get underneath some of these tackles. So for me, I'm hoping he moves back to defensive tackle this week, and really, he's going to have to play better against Derrick Henry. The way that Derrick Henry gets a lot of these runs isn't necessarily to the edge. He can get to the edge. Obviously, he's got great acceleration and great speed, but he makes a lot of his work by weaving through this offensive line and forcing guys just breaking angles by going straight down the middle of the field. That's where he gets his best production. And if Chris Jones can get in there, muddy that up a little bit, I think that's going to be, best for them. Also, if you're new to the channel, if you want to ask a question, do exactly what Henry did here. You put those question marks right before the question so I can pick it out of the chat easier. It makes everything much easier on myself and Ryan whenever we're doing this. So it actually looks like that's our only question for the time being. So I guess we'll just keep going with some more film. And this next play is also a 2 tight end set. You have, Gay here and you have, or Gray here, excuse me, not Gay. Gay is a defensive player, linebacker, not a tight end, even though he probably could play tight end if you wanted to. And then you have Travis Kelce right here. So this is one of the adaptations that the Chiefs have done to create better options for themselves against two deep safeties. And it's all about these throwing windows, right? So what happens here, right? This is, if you guys saw my clip on Twitter, I posted a little breakdown of one of the sale concepts that the Chiefs ran that was used in for the first half of the game. And this is another one of those sale concepts. It's a little bit different in terms of the fact that you don't have Demarcus Robinson running a curl here and Tyreek Hill running a corner behind it. On this one, you have Demarcus Robinson just running a clear out because you want to get rid of this defender. You want to make it so he can't break on the football this way. Okay. This is all drawn up to get Tyreek Hill open. So when they motion Travis Kelce from one side, just a little bit to the middle here, you're trying to get a read on what the defense is doing. Most of us know that they are trying to tell whether it's zone or whether it's man. So when you have this little tiny shift over this way from this slot corner, that tells Patrick Mahomes that it's most likely in zone. Okay. So what do? Like I said, we have this clear out from Demarcus Robinson, move this corner out of the picture completely. Then you have Tyreek Hill run this corner behind it. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have Travis Kelce off of this motion come back to the side, and he's just going to clear out to the flat. What does that do? So they have to be able to clear some space and get a defender open or away from the play. So then the clip that I showed on Twitter, what happened was they actually brought an extra defender. So it was four down rushers and then a linebacker coming. This time, this was after they did that play and they got them with a Darrell Williams flat play for about 10 yards. So that was after. This is after that. My apologies. Excuse me. So what do they do? So this time they don't bring this guy. He ends up being in coverage, okay? So let's go ahead and roll forward a little bit so that you can see what I'm talking about. So here's the motion. We have to move back from this slot corner. So yeah, so this is what ends up happening. So here is the moment that things end up going poorly for Washington, because this is doing a good job from Demarcus Robinson. They're clearing out this guy here. But last time they had this slot corner follow Tyreek Hill on his corner route. Okay. This time they switch off. This slot corner ends up coming down here to Travis Kelce, and that forces a linebacker to end up following Tyreek Hill. So you can already see from what ends up happening here that this play is completely drawn up to open up Tyreek Hill. He's just going to press the inside here and make this linebacker confused. Look at him. He's already open to the sideline, but he's in a terrible position to try and make this play on the ball. He can't do anything about it. So move forward a little bit again. And this hole opens up because, yes, Travis Kelce is wide open right here in the flat. But that's why they have a faster slot corner go to cover him so he can make a play on the ball if the ball goes there. Instead, Patrick Mahomes says, "Oh, look at all this space I got. I could set up a chair right here and just look for Tyreek Hill." But again, he doesn't have to. He's wide open, and it's a gain of 15, 16, 17 yards on the play because they were able to draw open this entire area. They did a great job of opening it up. So one last time through so you can see it fully done and in its entirety. It's just a great job of opening up that play. Just that slight opening up to the inside from Tyreek Hill's hips and head give away nothing, and he's able to get back on that corner. It's a greatly drawn up play. So after that, we're going to continue here with some more questions. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Over 100 in here. It's awesome. I do love all of the feedback that we get, the interactions that we're doing here, and it's a lot of fun to do these, guys. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mr. Smoke the Green. Have you seen the Snapchat post by Tyreek telling us his time is almost done and the chapter is almost over with us? So this is not anything to do with Kansas City. He has one more year left on his contract. It's not after this year, it's after next year. I don't believe this has anything to do with his time in Kansas City. I think he's going to stay in Kansas City for a very long time. I wouldn't be worried about it. Thank you very much, Stevie. Hi, how you doing? I'm glad you're here with me. Everyone, Stevie and I just blew it out of my head. Like the brain, I do apologize, guys. Now, Stevie and Gooch have their own shows. They will be on Fridays, and I do apologize, Gooch. I know you're going to see this and be mad at me that I forgot your name, but I didn't. I just had a brain fart. So, yes, they do have their own show. It's coming out Fridays, I believe. If that's not right, you let me know so I can make sure to still watch it. It's great. They do a great job. And it's nice seeing guys who have been here a very long time get into, putting up their own videos and getting it out there for you guys. So thank you very much for the super chat, Stevie. Continuing to promote your own channel that you work on now. Once again, continuing with more super chats. Thank you. Give it up for, yes, please give it up for Aaron. He comes in here every single day we do these live streams. He's got to get in here and get everybody, making sure that there's nothing going on that shouldn't be. And yes, give it up for Aaron. Does a great job with all these extra live shows. I know it wasn't in the plan for him, and I appreciate him being here very, very much. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. All right, so we'll answer a couple questions here if there's any more in here, and we'll get to the next play. Thank you, Fireball Steve. Can Gordon take Fortson's ladder climbing spot? So if you do follow me on Twitter, I expect that this can be somewhere that they go with that. I think that he has the athletic ability to. He's not as tall, obviously, and maybe a couple inches shorter, not super not super so shorter than Fortson by any stretch. But I do think you can see them try to use him more as a big body guy that can go make a play like that, because he's not going to create a ton of separation downfield anymore. I haven't seen that speed from him. I don't think he has it anymore. But I do think that he's just got that body and that the reliable hands and the ability to catch balls through contact, that you can use that. You can continue have him run some more wheel routes just like Jody did and get some of those mismatches, especially against a single high safety. That's what I do expect. So yes, I think they can definitely do that. Thank you for the question, Cole. I expect Derek Gore to ride the bench. I don't expect him to see any snaps unless somebody gets hurt. I'm sorry. That's just unfortunately what I think. Thank you, Scott. Hi, everybody. I do appreciate it. The highs. It makes me feel welcome and loved. And I know that may sound a little weird, but sometimes we all just gotta feel like we're appreciated. how to scheme against Tennessee without Fortin. So I do expect you're going to see more big body guys like Kemp, like more Robinson, maybe more Gordon, and you're definitely going to see more Gray. That's going to be what they're going to do. And I don't think Tennessee's defense holds up very well. They have a lot of injuries. I know that they just really played an emotional game against the Bills, who were said to be the best team in the AFC. So I don't believe that there's much to worry about their defense. I'm more worried about our defense against Derrick Henry. So, all right, we'll answer one more question, and we'll get to it. Okay. Thank you, Henry. Will Derrick Henry be a challenge for our defense? Derrick Henry is the challenge for the best defense in the NFL. That's just how it is, and he's an incredible player. The wall that he should have hit already is it's non-existent, and he's making everybody, especially myself, look bad. Thought he was gonna just kind of fall off at some point because the hits, the way he plays, and the toll it takes on his body. But he's an alien. He's a freak, and this defense is going to have their troubles containing him. Keeping him under 150 yards would be a win for me. So it's going to get hairy out there, but let's hope that they're up to the task. All right. Again, thank you for the question, Henry. We're going to get back into the film here. This is one of my favorite plays, and it's not very highlighted. It's not very catchy. It's not very draw your attention to it. But there's a few things that I really like to see on it because you can really take advantage of some of these too high safety looks that teams are going to continuously play. They don't want the Chiefs to hit those deep shots. So you're going to see more two deep safeties. And this is another way you can take advantage of that. So again, you motion Travis Kelce inside. You just see a shift down. So again, you're in zone. And this is the play to Byron Pringle. This is an excellent throw. It's an excellent catch. And it makes me happy to see them using Byron Pringle a little bit more. He's not used as much as I would like, but it's a pretty straightforward concept. Let's run through it one more time just so you can see again what is going on here with everybody. Just drawing attention. Did you guys catch? I know you caught what Mahomes did, right? You all caught it. So here's the basic gist of everything. This is just a two-man route, essentially. This is only going to be for this side of the field. Mahomes doesn't need to look to his left. He knows he's got a skinny corner from Byron Pringle, and then you're going to have Travis Kelce just kind of look for the football. So what this creates is, especially from this stack formation, this is a stack when you have a receiver on the line and you have another one coming up right next to his heel, it creates, especially against man coverage, it creates an open receiver no matter what. Those guys, they can't be right on each other because if they are, you're just going to run away from both of them and you're going to get wide open. So they have to create some separation from themselves, especially from the lower stack guy, which in this case is Travis Kelce. So what ends up happening here? Patrick Mahomes knows attention goes to Travis Kelce, right? So what's he going to do? He's going to throw a pump fake in here. Kind of go slowly through it. And this is one of those things, again, that you can do against these two high safeties because you have to respect the deep speed, even from a guy like Byron Pringle. The safety has to back up no matter what because he can blow by him. He's not a 4-3 guy, but he's a low 4-4 guy, and he can run by him. So this is the kind of separation that is created with these two high sets. Look at all of this room. This is where the Chiefs need to be attacking more often, everywhere. And they're going to end up doing it here on this specific play. So like I said, what does Patrick Mahomes do? He's looking. He knows he's got the open corner over here. So he pumps to Travis. And what does that do to this defender? Look at him. Looking at Patrick Mahomes. He's just looking at his eyes because he wants to break on this football and make a tackle or make an interception. And the ability of Mahomes to continuously take advantage of players looking in the backfield and manipulating him with his eyes is what also makes him so special, what makes him so great. Because you know it's coming. He's like, all right, I'm going to hit this now. And he just drops it in the bucket between these two guys at the sideline. Byron Pringle makes a great catch. But this is that next level stuff that he brings. The ability to manipulate, the ability to throw a ball on a dime to a specific spot right at that hash, right? Or right at the out of bounds area and where the safety can't make a play. They were doing this all before the second half. I think this was probably right out of the second half. But again, like it's just cut and dry and it's simple football when you allowed to when you're just clicking, when you have it all together, okay? And the team, this offense specifically, has a lot of things together, and I think that it just kind of goes to show you that even with all the turnovers and all of the issues that they've had, kind of getting the ball in the end zones a lot of times, they're still moving it with ease. They're able to do a lot of things that all offenses can't do. They lead the NFL in converting first downs. Like they're just a machine. So it's a lot of fun to watch. And we're going to get into again what they did in the second half here in a little bit, but it's just so awesome to watch them continuously attack these defenses and adapt to these defenses. All right. Now to some more questions. Thank you, Angry Drunken German. Casey did a great job versus King in the playoffs 2 years ago, hit them behind the line and run blitzes. Would that be the best game plan against this time? So they don't have the same kind of bodies. I think that Mike Pennell was a guy that unheralded guy who did a really good job in the run game. I'm a little worried about the dynamic. If they bring Chris Jones back on the inside, do they keep him there all the time, or are they going to rotate him at defensive end? Are they going to rotate him out specifically on rundowns, like known rundowns, and bring Jerron Reed and Derek Nottie in there? Because you can't take Derek Nottie off the field against King Henry. You can't. He's the best run defender the Chiefs have. So the dynamic that they're going to create by, I would imagine, moving Chris Jones at defensive tackle. Do they bring him? Do they probably bring Jerron Reed out? Maybe they put him at defensive end a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but he hasn't been the run defender that we all thought he was going to be. That was going to allow Chris Jones to play defensive end more. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. But the best game plan, yeah, I think you're going to have to see more run blitzes. You're going to have to take more chances with the linebackers that you have, because I'm not afraid of Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball. Like, yeah, you have AJ Brown. That's awesome. He's great. Maybe you have Julio Jones. He's got a hamstring injury, but I'm going to take my chances with that way more than I'm going to take with not bringing some run blitzes versus Derrick Henry. So yeah, I think that's probably the best game plan. Thank you, Bradley. How excited about the defense should we be? Oh, maybe Washington football is just bad. Yeah, no, the footballs are a bad offense. But again, they held them to the lowest point total that they had all season. And that does speak to a little bit, at least. I know that they had a couple injuries, Terry McLaurin and then Antonio Gibson playing with injuries. But again, you still have to show up. You still have to play the game. And at the end of the day, to hold a team to their lowest point total of the season, it's an accomplishment. Were there still some issues? Yeah, there's going to be some issues. There were some things that they need to clean up. And I liked seeing L'Jarius Sneed rotate a little bit at safety. Not too much, just 2 times as a slot drop defender. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing Spags get more comfortable with his play calling, more comfortable with the players that worked at their positions prior. So that really just kind of makes you think that maybe they try to galaxy brain this defense a little bit too much. They tried to play guys out of position. They tried to play Chris Jones out of defensive tackle and move him to defensive end because they thought they could be able to do it. But the bodies that they have, when you play them where they're supposed to be, Juan Thornhill, deep safety, or just playing as a safety. Dan Sorensen in the box, you can rotate him out to a safety. And in some situations, you still want him to be more of a dime backer type player. And then playing, Chris Jones in the right spots, playing more Rashad Fenton, which I think we're going to see. They're starting to get back to playing their best players at the best spot for them. That's going to make the defense better, period. So I think that there is some level of excitement, level of confidence going forward that they're going to get this thing figured out to some degree. So I think that there's, like I said, more level of confidence that they're going to figure it out. Excitement, maybe not so much. Thank you for the questions. Not Internet Killer, thank you. Hey, Aaron, does Patrick need to tell his wife, Brittany? Oh, wow. I'm probably not going to read that one out line. So, yeah, probably not any of our business to tell people what to do on the internet. Do you think we are able to stop Henry the way we have stopped him the last 2 times, or does he go off on us? Aaron, yeah. Like I said, I think keeping it under 150 is going to be the game plan, and just kind of hope that he doesn't go nuclear and go for 300 yards because this run defense has been pretty bad. So I think, like I said, I think 150 is the play point for him. If you can get him to 100, then that's the best. But my game plan part is as Derrick Henry gets more into the game, as they get closer to the fourth quarter, his carries start to become more explosive and more efficient. He's one of the only true things that actually wears defenses out. Like he's a different breed of player, a different breed of running back. I personally believe he's a top 5 running back to ever live. I really believe it, and I know that that's probably a little controversial, but I think he is. So for me, what you need to do is you need to get some stops early. You got to commit to stopping the run on the first maybe 2 plays of the game or the first 2 plays of a drive, getting them into more third long situations, and then you have to score right after it. You have to. You have to get this team into a deficit where they can't run the ball, where it's just not going to work. I know that Tennessee probably mimics a little bit of what Baltimore can do, in where running the ball all the time might be the best bet for them. But I think you're going to be able to stop him just a tad more often than a guy like Lamar Jackson in the way that scheme is. So you got to be able to just score more points early and force them to throw. Thank you, Dan Thompson, for the question. Reverend, oh, I'm not a reverend, but that's a very high esteem thing for me. What are the first 3 things you do right now if you were in charge of what? The team? If I'm in charge of the team, I'm starting Byron Pringle over Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson is no longer on the team. Dan Sorensen's getting cut, and I'm going to play Chris Jones at defensive tackle the rest of his career here. That's what I'm doing. Thank you for the question. Julio 816. Do you see Frank Clark having a good game this Sunday because he sees the run coming? I think that Frank Clark needs to channel a bit of what he did in that playoff run. He needs to channel that type of energy and that type of feel and that type of leadership. I don't know if his hamstring is going to let him be exactly that kind of player, but you need to have some kind of swagger. He needs to come play with it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I think he has to do. So, yeah, that's the only thing that he can feasibly do to help himself play better in this game and really bring himself up to it. All right, guys, I think I've answered enough questions for the time being. I'll get to the next one after this play. So as we all know, on the All-22, they for some reason have these blips come right back up. Like I need to see exactly the time and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the third quarter, 2nd and 5. Okay, simple enough. So they're motioning out Darrell Williams to the flat. You see, out wide. You see a guy go with him. So that's man coverage, right? And again, this doesn't seem like much, but when you go back into it, like this is the type of play you have to consistently have against what these 2 high shells, okay? So we saw man coverage, right, with Darrell Williams coming out here. And the only thing different about this play is right now, as this is showing, this safety's leaning, okay? He's leaning forward. Whether Mahomes sees that or not, we don't really know. I can't tell you right now if he does or not. But this entire play looks like man coverage, right? You got man, close man too. So for me, this is just cover 1 under with this man dropping into this shallow zone to be a takeaway guy, like they could call a rat in the hole, a guy who comes down here and plays down here. Obviously, the rat into the hole. What they say anyway. So what do the Chiefs end up doing here? This is a play that really works well against man coverage. So you have Tyreek Hill is going to run an in route. And the reason I know it's an in route is because at the break, it's much quicker. It's not just a turn. You have Darrell Williams just kind of running a clear out. You have Byron Pringle running a whip route. You've got Travis Kelce doing kind of the same thing, another whip route. And then you have McCole Hardman running a clear out. This is all to create space at every level of the field. So you have clear outs from these guys to get the whip routes open against man coverage. And ideally what you're doing is you're creating all the space in the middle, and that's why you have Washington take this guy and bring him underneath, because just in case this happens, you can see the way that you run the spread offense is get everybody on the outside, open up the middle of the field. So you bring this guy down, you have him be the deep safety, and you bring him down to be the rat in the hole so we can take anything that's coming across, okay? That's what they did here. That's what the Chiefs do. So Mahomes recognizes that it's man coverage. Okay. He sees early that it's man coverage because you have eyes here on Travis or on Byron Pringle first, excuse me. Now he goes to Darrell Williams. Okay. It could actually be Byron Pringle. I'm just kind of looking at where he's looking right now. So right now he's looking down the pipe here. This is down the pipe, down two guys with Byron Pringle and Darrell Williams. Not open. Tyreek Hill is essentially bracketed, right? But you know this guy's in a zone because he's come down. He doesn't have responsibility to Tyreek Hill. He hasn't shown that he's going to cover him. So he just waits. Patrick Mahomes does what he does with a pocket. So he's got a little bit of pocket here. He's able to wait it out. He comes through his read, and then he sees that this rat in the hole is coming down a little bit too far. Knows that Tyreek Hill is coming open on the over. So he waits just a half second here, and he's just had that half second. Throws it right behind the ear of that rat in the hole to Tyreek Hill for the first down, right before he gets hit. Like, this is understanding the play. It's understanding the defense. It's seeing the defense as it comes unfold, and knowing you've got man coverage and you have these man coverage beaters, especially with a guy like Tyreek Hill, who can get open against any type of man coverage, especially when they're not being physical at the line of scrimmage. So it's adaptation. That was a nice play call against zone as well, because again, you have more of those clear outs, and you have the way that when you spread everybody out like that, what it does is, again, it shows you not just the coverage, but it shows you the areas of the field that they're willing to give up. And Washington football team was willing to give up the middle of the field that right there and play more man coverage. And with the route combination the Chiefs had with the clear outs and the whip routes, it didn't work out for them in that spot. But having Tyreek Hill open over the middle of the field, you can really aggravate defenses doing that. All right, more questions. Here we go. Thank you, Rifleman, for the question. What do you think the chances are for Saunders playing linebacker to stop Henry? Unfortunately, I think they're pretty low. I would love to see, like Ryan's been saying, play more 46, play him, just get him on the field a little bit more, because of the ability, the short area quickness is very important, especially with a guy who wants to run up the middle and really punish people, because he can come downhill a little bit. He can meet some guys in the hole. I know he is not going to play linebacker, but I would love to see him at defensive end a little bit. Definitely get on the field a bit more. They're going to have to rotate guys out because Derrick Henry is going to wear him out. So yeah, I think that he should be playing a little bit more. I'd love to see him at linebacker. I really would. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Kevin. Why no Josh Gordon? They better play him before he gets suspended again. I don't think Josh Gordon's going to get suspended this time, but of course, that's pretty much an evergreen saying. We all think that Josh Gordon's going to be right this time. He's in a better spot mentally. I think he's in a better organization mentally. But Josh Gordon's not playing as much because the nuances of this offense are still difficult to get down. Okay. He got on the field, and I watched him he just missed the block completely. Okay. So if you guys remember, I don't know if you'll be able to remember, I'm going to explain it to you. They had a bubble screen to Tyreek Hill earlier in the game where it was off an RPO. Patrick Mahomes did the RPO action. He noticed that there was no slot defender on Tyreek Hill. He pulls it out, throws it to him quickly. They get a 10-yard gain, and they have Demarcus Robinson block right in front of him, and Tyreek's able to navigate it for 10 yards on a bubble screen. They had the exact same look later in the game with Josh Gordon as the outside receiver and Tyreek Hill as a slot. They did the exact same thing, but Josh Gordon did not understand to go block Kendall Fuller. He just kind of ran out straight, and he just missed the block. So he doesn't understand the playbook completely, especially on plays like RPOs like that, where it could be run or it could be pass. He's still struggling with that dynamic, I think. So you're going to see him more and more as it goes on, but I think that he's just got to get incorporated more into the offense. Thank you, Dubba. Yeah, that's right. Do I'm just butchering this. I'm so sorry. Duba you. Whew. I'm just real bad at that. I apologize. Don't you feel the Chiefs and Spags defense plays better ahead of the sticks and when they have the lead? Yeah, that's what they are designed for. That's why they brought Spags in to run this 3 safety type thing. They really found that out in the Super Bowl, that the year they won the Super Bowl, using Kendall Fuller as a third safety unlocked the defense. And when you're being able to get a few key stops here and there and force defenses into third and long situations, that's where Spags can get creative. That's where he can rotate a bunch of safeties, where he can call blitzes and start to show a lot of stuff that doesn't end up being what happens on the back end. So yes, that is exactly what he's here for and what he brings to the team. All right, again, if you guys have any more questions, you just make sure to put the question marks before so I can see them. Thank you, Big Chief Sean. What's up, man? Who steps up to stop Henry? So I think it's got to be Chris Jones playing more defensive tackle. Also, Derek Nottie needs to continue the season he's having. It's really going untalked about, but he's having a really, really, really great defensive run-stopping season. A very good job of him being in the right spots and doing a good job bench pressing and getting off doubles. He's doing a very good job. I think Saunders as well doing a good job. But the key under guy here is Jerron Reed has to come in and be the run stopper he was in Seattle. And if they do that, they're going to do a decent job against Derrick Henry. I'm not going to say a good job because I don't think that's possible. I thank you again for your question, Scott. Your take on how Remmers did Sunday compared to what you've seen from Niang. I think that Remmers had some ups and downs, but coming off the bench, I think he played well against some very good pass rushers in Washington. Did a pretty good job. Had some snaps here where he clearly lost. I know there was that one play that was offsides on Chase Young that Mahomes did the jump pass to, and he was all about like calling him out too. He was pointing at him and saying it was offsides and stuff like that. But I like Remmers. If you guys remember, I was one of the only people saying that Remmers should start the season because it's much easier to go to Niang after he catches up and is able to, physically handle it. And he's showing himself through practice than it is to go back to him. If you start Niang, go to Remmers, and then to say Remmers struggles, then you go back to a guy who's got some confidence issues now. But right now, it looks to be Mike Remmers' job, and that's why it didn't make any sense to come out and say that Niang had an injury. Just say that Remmers has the job. That's just a bit of laziness on the Chiefs' part, in my opinion. Thank you for the question again, Angry Junk in German. Did Williams earn the right with more carries with last week's very solid performance? He's really grown as a player. Darrell Williams has been who he is for the last 3 years. Like, he's just who he is. And I don't think he's earned the right to more carries. I think that he was already impeding Clyde, if I'm being, honest with my own evaluation of the running back touches. I don't think that Darrell's adding a ton of value to running back touches, and your first round draft pick that you said you wanted to take because it was a luxury pick, that you're giving away some carries to guys that are less dynamic with the ball in their hands. So I think right now, and I don't particularly think that Williams was outstanding on Sunday. I think he did exactly what he should do, what he does. He grinds it out. He runs guys over. He made some guys miss in space. And against the Baltimore Ravens a few years ago, if you guys remember, I broke that down too. He can move in space. He's just not the best mover in space. So he's just who he is. And there's nothing wrong with Darrell Williams. I like Darrell, and I like what he brings as a goal line guy. But I would love to see Clyde get some goal line carries. I think he can do that too, but that's not my job, apparently. Yes, I do sound like Ryan reading Ryan things sometimes. Usually I'm better at figuring that out, but that one just kind of threw me for a loop for some reason. I have no idea why. I think we're going to answer one more question, and then I'm going to get to some more tape. Thank you for the question, Kevin. Is Gore going to play? He looked good in the preseason. Yeah, because I'm probably not going to play very much unless there's an injury. He's an in-case back. So that's what he's here for. He's here just in case someone gets hurt. But Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon are going to handle the majority of the reps. All right, let's go ahead and get into more tape here. So after the half, Mahomes looked more comfortable. He looked more himself. The team rallied around him, told him to just continue to be himself. And what does he end up doing? He ends up doing just Mahomes things the entire second half. Like, this is the kind of stuff he does at his best. He's just able to see things way better than everybody else. But I apologize. My mouse was probably in the way, so you guys couldn't see that all the way. Yeah. Gets a runner in his face, avoids, steps up, boom. Strike to DeMarcus Robinson. So how does this play unfold? How does it happen? Patrick Mahomes is great operating in a pocket, especially with the guy running up his face. He does a great job of maneuvering and finding guys open. But the main person that you're going to want to watch on this play, Demarcus Robinson. The one thing that he does well on this team outside of blocking is why he's still here. Is this the breakdown plays, like things that happen when the plays break down. So just ever so closely watch him as we go forward here. Again, this concept with having the running back come out to the, or excuse me, running back out to the flat and also occupying the flat with another receiver draws attention. Okay. So when the Washington footballs bring an extra guy, there's another guy in here somewhere. There are 5 rushers. I can't see exactly where they all are right here in this angle, but we'll get to it in a second. Mahomes is able, there he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we got it. We got it. It's the free rusher. Mahomes does a great job of, again, when he stalls for a second back here, he's able to break guys' ankles because he moves so well. And this is what Demarcus Robinson does extremely well. Here, he stops on the 30-yard line. Okay. And Mahomes starts moving up right here. You can see he just turned his head to look for this defender. Okay. So he's looking to make sure that if he has to move, that he moves. But he doesn't have to because he has the attention on Byron Pringle. So Mahomes ends up running up, seeing him, throwing a strike to Robinson for a first down. They were so good at converting first downs in that second half that Mahomes, again, got back to the things that he does very well. He maneuvers. He finds ways to get open. He finds so many different ways to create space. And when he gets out of the pocket, you're not playing contain. That's when he hurts you the most. But the footballs do a good job here. They bring 5. They rush, and they end up doing a nice twist here that allows a free runner on Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Very good job here of getting open. Just comes up on Mahomes. So he comes out of the pocket. Again, what he does, slings it to Demarcus Robinson. Like, this is just stuff that he did in the second half to become himself again. He was much better at being Patrick Mahomes. It looked like the pressure kind of came off him a little bit. And we're going to see another play right here. I'm going to go into this one because it kind of tails off of what I've been talking about with Mahomes, just kind of doing Mahomes things. He's just doing so well at being more comfortable, at being himself again. And that's definitely where he's the best player in the NFL. And it felt so good to watch Patrick Mahomes play in rhythm again. He just had so many games where he felt out of phase and out of pace. And I want to watch it again because I was talking, so you guys can actually focus on it if you're not just focusing on me. But again, they do a really good job of finding ways to get open down the field. And with Byron Pringle specifically here running this drag route, or not, excuse me, not drag route. This is a deep over route. So he's just going to kind of flow out and run this deep over route. It's a deep route and it takes a long time to develop. And that allows Mahomes to find him down the field. And again, when Mahomes is able to get outside of the pocket and create things with his legs, force defenders to draw attention to him, good things happen, especially in all of this space. And you don't play contain as a defense, and you have Mike Remmers out here just laying the hammer down, you're able to create space for Mahomes to function, for him to operate. Like, look at the guys that are open on this play. Demarcus Robinson, and then he sees the cutting over of Byron Pringle. He sees him coming. But you see he does pump fake to Demarcus Robinson here. He does pump him. He wants to throw it to him, but he doesn't want him to get hurt. So what does he do? He reevaluates. He's got so much time. Just sees Byron Pringle open. It's a great job of seeing it, letting it unfold, and letting it happen. It's just Mahomes, when he's doing the things that he does best, this is why he's the best player in the NFL. We all know that. We've seen it a ton of times. But seeing him play comfortable and a bit more under control with his own abilities is why this offense is going to continue to be the best in the NFL. And now the icing on the cake, because this team on third down, especially in the second half of the game, was just incredible. So we're going to get to that after a couple more questions here. I'm going to go back a little bit because I think I missed something. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, again, if you're new and you missed it, just put question marks before, and I can pick it out of the chat much easier. Yeah, there are people talk. Lots of people talking about kneeing. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Thank you, Aaron. Who else has been excited that D-Rob has not run backwards in 2 games, and does that continue? So again, they should just only target him in the end zone, so he never has to. So he doesn't have to ignore that desire and that want to run backwards. He does it all the time. But again, yeah, it's much better. I think they finally drilled it into him a little bit more, a little bit better to just not do it, to go forward or to just let it happen. And again, targeting him in the end zone is one way you can do that. All right, so here's the deal. This is the last play on the film review today, and this is why you really can't defend against the Chiefs, especially on these third downs. Specifically, what they were doing is they were killing them in these third and shorts. This was the end of their 95-yard drive down the field. Every third down they converted, every single one of them. It was like 4 or 5 of them, and this was another one of them. It was a 3rd and 5-ish, I think, and you see a too high safety group once again, but that's gonna disappear. Okay. If you guys remember back to the Eagles game when Mahomes took that deep shot to Tyreek Hill because the safety went, one came down and one reverted back to the top because he recognized the safety. The safety changed really quick, and he knew he had Tyreek Hill on that deep go route. This is exactly what happens. Okay. They do the exact same thing. And you motion, so you see some what's supposed to be man, right? So you see all man coverage. This is why it's so hard to play against the Chiefs, because when you try to disguise some things, you want to be able to disguise, and you want to be able to play some man coverage, especially with a team like Washington that wants to play more man than zone. You see they do this right here. They rotate safety out and him down to cover Tyreek Hill this time. It's not the rat in the hole this time. It's to cover Tyreek Hill because he already has the inside edge on his man. But Demarcus Robinson continues a couple things well a game, get him open, and when you're able to create this kind of separation early in the route, especially when you had the safeties coming and going, you're going to find big plays. And that's the difference right here is why the Chiefs offense. Oh, never mind. He actually did come down here to be the rat in the hole, and the deep safety went with Tyreek. That's my apologies. That's my fault. So let's redo that. So he does come down to be the rat in the hole, and the safety is the one that takes responsibility for Tyreek Hill. His eyes never come off of him. That's my fault. So yeah, he does come down to control the middle of the field because you have crossers coming this way. But Demarcus Robinson, give him credit. He makes a couple great moves a game, and this is one of them. Just does a great job of getting open, finding the end zone. And again, this is why the Chiefs offense is going to be what it is at the end of the day. Okay. They have done everything well now. They've found more ways to get bigger plays against cover 2, against some cover 4. They're starting to do a little bit more with route concepts, with doing some actual true cover 2 beaters and cover 4 beaters, using some corners, using some crossers. They're starting to incorporate them a little bit more. And that's what happens here is you see they still have some crossers on one side. They had McCole Hardman coming across the middle of the field. And Washington's like, okay, so they can beat us in cover 2 and cover 4. So we're going to go back to what we do best in the red zone. And we're going to play more man coverage. We're going to play with the deep safety. We're going to play with the rat in the hole. We think we can do much better with that. And you can stop them, but you can't, especially with Demarcus Robinson, who's one of the best double move runners on this team, oddly enough. It's weird to see him do that. But when you have that kill shot and when you work the third downs, when you consistently work those third downs, and the Chiefs have done it all season, 80%, I think, first down rate, that's best in the NFL by a wide margin. And when you actually watch the team, they're able to now finally matriculate the ball down the field. That frustrates a defense. It's like, okay, we have to come out of too high. We have to show them something different. We have to try to mix things up. And when you do that, and when you rotate that safety back, and you try to play a little bit more straight up with some man coverage, and you try to be down there and get in their faces, they beat you deep. That's Something that Patrick Mahomes struggled with earlier in the season is waiting for those deep shots and having to wait. But that second half against the footballs is what he did. He was patient. He was methodical. He was himself a little bit more, and he didn't have to take the deep shots on the plays that he was himself. He got some 17, 20-yard chunks instead of going for 40 or 50. He found ways to still matriculate the ball down the field without having to take the kill shot. Now Patrick Mahomes is adapting. I think this second half against the footballs was key for his confidence going forward. As much as, the rest of the team getting back to him and saying, "Yeah, just be you, just play the game however you want to play it. How you play it best is what this team needs." As much as that helps him, it helps Patrick to see the fruits of the labor of having to work against these two high shells, against these cover fours. So they have to throw it underneath. All of it helps. Now Patrick has confidence. I think the offense has confidence, and I think that they're able to hit the chunks and able to hit the underneath stuff. They're starting to scheme underneath a little bit better, and that's where you're going to see defenses get frustrated and come out of those two high shells and start playing a little bit more, play a little bit more with man coverage and play a little bit more cover three and traditional cover two. If you play traditional cover two, those corners, you play cover three, like they're going to be able to start hitting some stuff. And especially when you see single high safety, as soon as Mahomes sees that single high rotation, he's hitting a deep shot. He's started figuring it out. That was the one biggest takeaway that I took from this game, is that he's starting to understand. Okay. He's starting to understand. Yeah, I sometimes I just gotta work the run game a little bit. I gotta work some of the lower parts of the field. But yeah, it was definitely fun to see. So I think we've got some in here about Niang and winning the job and things like that. So Mike Remmers was injured in preseason and before that in training camp with a back injury that allowed Niang on the field earlier. Then Niang won the job for me. Like that's what happened. Without the injury, I think Mike Remmers is your starting tackle. But he probably got healthier as the preseason went along, and he clearly is healthy now. He looks much more comfortable than he did. So I think that he initially Niang won the job, but probably could have gone to Remmers if they felt comfortable going to him, and if Niang hadn't been playing pretty well in the preseason. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I do think that right now Remmers has the job. Considering he was at the podium today, makes me think they're going to give it to him in this next week. We'll see. I'm interested to see what they end up doing at right tackle. It's nice to know you have two guys that can go out there and function play right tackle. That's something nice to actually see. And I'm going to answer some more questions before we get out of here. Thank you, Kyle. Why does Thornhill make a difference? Dude, Dan, I've been a long time fan of this channel. I appreciate your opinions and the film breakdowns. They're dope. It's awesome to hear you working my work day. I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for being a part of the live stream. So, yeah, Thornhill makes a difference because he's the only true free safety on this team. There is nobody else that can play deep, that has the recovery speed, that you can trust to play in the middle of the field and that can recover to either side with speed. Can't really get beat deep without losing his eyes in the backfield. So when it comes down to it, I think that the confidence that Matthew has in his ability to recover and that all of the corners have and his ability to recover allows them to play a little bit more physical, allows them to play closer to their receivers without fear of getting beat deep. So let's say you have two deep safeties, okay? And Dan Sorensen's on one side, and you got three receivers to that trip side, okay? Every single one of those corners has to be worried about getting beat deep because Dan Soren doesn't have the recovery speed or athleticism anymore to make up for that. And they have to play off a little bit more, and that opens up slants and all of that open stuff over the middle of the field. It allows those corners to have to play more, give them more space at the line of scrimmage so the receivers can just run a slant and be like, okay, I'm open for 10, 15 yards. With that safety net back there, with the speed that Thornhill provides, you can play a bit more physically. You can play a little closer to the line, and you can play more like Rashad Fenton has been, and being in that hip pocket of the receiver. They also know that Juan Thornhill's out there too, so they're not going to have Dan Sorensen trying to cover him. So yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is trust, and I think that's what he brings. And I do appreciate everything you just said there, man. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Very, very cool. If anyone else has any more questions, please make sure you get those question marks in front. We can pull them out, and I will pull them up here. Thank you again, Rifleman. Must be scary for other teams since Mahomes is adapting. That's exactly. That's what it is. He's adapting, and he's kind of fought the adaptation for a little while. He felt like he had to with the defense being as bad as it was. But on Sunday, I think even just a little clicking with the defense allowed Mahomes to feel more comfortable and not to have to press so much. I think they had some issues with the turnovers early in the game. That got inside of the head a little bit too. That got in everyone's head, in my opinion, and it just started to derail them. But the confidence from the team, seeing the defense play pretty well, and just knowing that it's all there in front of you. When you see that too high shell, they have the scheme for it. They finally started to pull out more stuff and pull out the stops on these cover 2 and cover 4s. They're doing a better job of adapting to it. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all it really matters, is that now Mahomes has seen it work. Okay. They came back from a deficit. It worked. And going forward, you can draw on that. You can see that maybe even if the defense isn't as good as it was, only allowing 13 points, you as an offense can take more time. Ball control while throwing the ball is a much different animal than a lot of people reference with ball control and just running the ball. I think they can do both now, and that really helps the offense in its entirety. Thank you for the question, California Chief. Hey, Dan, do you think we'll see Josh Gordon in a larger role soon? I think it's going to happen soon, but it might take a little while unless they simplify the offense for him a little bit. If they make him go, I keep hitting this thing, man. I tell you what, I might just throw it out the window. If they use him more in the role that Jody Fortson was, as a bigger body, maybe even tight end-esque role, a bigger body type guy who can win some 50-50 balls, and you just throw it up to him. I think that would be perfect for what they want him to do and lets him get comfortable. And that's what I think. I think that's really what it comes down to, is just being more comfortable. He's going to get there with the offense. That's not not out of the question for me. So I'm very confident that Josh Gordon will be okay and everything will turn around for him. He'll start playing more. So yeah, I think that Josh Gordon in this game against the Titans, I think he scores a touchdown. I'll say it now. I think he's going to score a touchdown, and mostly because I think they can use him as a Jody Fortson-esque type player. So yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be fun. Again, if you guys have any more questions, I can answer them in the next couple minutes. But this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the film. We're going to do more film stuff. I finally have a source completely nailed down the rest of the season for the All-22. So I will have it. Ryan will get it, and we'll be able to do more film stuff for you. If you guys want to see something specifically from the game, make sure to drop it down in the comments on the YouTube video. I can probably put it on Twitter. I can maybe get it to you guys in a small video in here during the week before the game, preferably. But yeah, if you guys ever want to see anything specifically from the game that you had a question about, make sure to ask either in the Monday Q&A, the game recap, or on Twitter if you guys have me on Twitter. And for everybody that needs to know where to find me, this is where you can find me. At In Harm's Way 19. That is my username on Twitter, and that's where you can get to me. So again, I think that's all the questions we got for everybody. Again, I had fun. We're going to continue to do this as much as I can, and I'm glad we have 205 people in here watching me break down film and talk to you guys, answer questions. So much fun, and thank you again for giving me this platform. I'm very grateful. You guys have been great, and I'm hoping to be able to continue to provide some content that you enjoy. So that's going to be all for it tonight. You guys have, we got one last question. Thank you, Thomas. No problem. Don't worry about being late. I love the breakdowns you do. Please keep them coming. Yeah, we'll definitely keep these coming. And again, it's as long as it works out with my schedule, I'll continue to do the live one. I've had a lot of fun doing them. So yeah, we're definitely going to keep it going. Again, thank you guys. Have a great night. It was a lot of fun, and it's going to continue being a lot of fun because I think the Chiefs are about to start rattling stuff off. And that's going to be it for us tonight.